I know it looks like a brain scratch, but welcome to another edition of JohnnyVlogs. And this edition is brought to you by Taija Ray. Thank you so much for your support on Patreon. I truly appreciate it. As well as Sally B, a good friend of mine who I've chatted with a bit on Twitter, who is now also a Patreon supporter. It means so much to me when you guys support me on Patreon. I truly, truly appreciate it. That's why I thank every one of you here. And outside of that, I get some cool comments on Patreon. So let's take a look at a comment from Sid Sperling. I really respect what you do, John. You have a genuine vibe about you. I would really like to know what you think about young kids who can recant their previous life. Maybe a question for a vlog. I think that's a very good point, Sid. Great question for a vlog. So I'm using the brain scratch setup because I did check into a couple of articles on this. Let's start with the first one. Reincarnated kids. 9 signs your child had a past life. This is from the Huffington Post. It's pretty interesting. I guess there's a TV show on the Lifetime Movie Network where it kind of goes into this subject a little bit. To be honest, I hadn't really thought about it, but if you're talking about looking for a great sample case to test the reincarnation theory, what better case than children? Because if you have extremely young children that are recalling details that you can verify from a previous existence, I think that's about as good as we're going to get in terms of sample sets that we can look at and determine, hey, is this really happening or not? So they have a couple of cases they talk about here. This one's almost done like a list. After they talk about the show a little bit, they go into, do they have adult-like behavior? Do they have specific past life memories, traumatic memories, uncanny knowledge of other languages, which is very interesting. And apparently they do have one case where a kid was able to understand German. And night terrors, which seems to be a common theme among children with this. Advanced skills, morbid drawings of their death. I also bumped into some other information in another article that might be a little bit more legitimate than just a Huffington Post, pop article piece, where a kid thought he was a pilot from World War II and he kept recreating the crash of his airplane using his toy planes. So there might be something to the not just drawings of their death, but recreating their death. Memories of the period between lives. Talk about the earlier mother. Pretty interesting stuff. And this article is looking for people that want to be a part of the show. They have contact info there. I don't know if the show's still going on. I think this article's from 2014. And I should probably tell you what the name of the show is. Let's find that real quick. Ghost Inside My Child. So if you're interested in this topic and that show's still on, I'd say check out Ghost Inside My Child. I'm going to have to see if it's available on maybe on Hulu or some digital format. But so outside of the Huffington Post article, I wanted to find something that might be a little bit more science-based. So this is from psychologytoday.com, and it's called Children Who Seemingly Remember Past Lives. And it goes into 2 specific examples, one of a 4-year-old and one of a 2-year-old. And in both the examples, they were able to trace information that makes it look like these kids actually know what they're talking about when it comes to this past life. They're entertaining, if nothing else. It's entertaining to read this story of a 4-year-old that thought that he worked in Hollywood back in the day, and he's looking through pictures with his mother of old actors on set, and he sees himself in one of these pictures, and he's able to recall all kinds of details about his life that seem to line up once they trace down the daughter of, or track down the daughter of that actual man. So I'll have links for both these articles in the description box below. I don't really want to go into the details of each one too much, but you can read them for yourself. And if you're interested in this topic at all, I suggest you do that, because it was definitely an interesting read. But it really kind of put the question to me, and this is the question that I want to put to you guys, just about this reincarnation theory. I know we've talked about karma before, and karma kind of touches into reincarnation a bit, certain forms of belief of karma, where you might be paying for a previous existence even in your current existence, which I would think that would be somewhat unfortunate, because I'm not sure how you would ever learn the lesson of your karma backlash, so to speak, if it came from a previous life, because how would you know what happened in that existence? Maybe there's something in the soul or something deep down where you do get that lesson. Maybe you just don't figure it out logically like I think I would like to. But this is really interesting for me to think about this, where this is happening, or there's children that are having this experience. So I have a little theory, and it's weird because of course I used to be an IT guy, and it kind of ties into how technology works in a certain way, but it's a possibility that I just wanted to share with you guys. So I don't know if you know how old magnetic hard drives work, but essentially they are spinning constantly, and when you save a file to your hard drive, it's written as this I think it's called a plate is spinning, and it isn't necessarily all written in one spot. So you might have a part of the start of the file here, and because it was spinning, then it drops another part here, another part here. The computer knows that when you're looking for that file, oh, I need to grab this information, and it chains it all together and gives it back to you. There's also this process called defragmentation, which is getting way too techie for this theory, but I have this strange theory that because we are on, first of all, an Earth that is rotating, and rotating on its own axis, but then also rotating in space, is there some possibility that when we die, we leave an imprint on that specific section of space in some way that we don't quite understand. Now I know like some ghost hunters think that when we die, we leave imprints close to material objects, like maybe in a house that we died in or something along those lines. But I'm thinking at more of a cosmic level, could it be written into space? And the rest of my theory on that is when a new life is created, is energy pulled from that soul space, I guess I'll call it. Is that residual energy from other people that have lived before, and all of a sudden a little collection of that gets pulled in and becomes Johnny when I was a baby or something like that. I think that kind of mechanism would be interesting because depending on where the Earth was, depending on the rotation of not only the planet, but where it was in terms of space on its orbit, it might take a significant amount of time for the same energy to be coupled together and reused. Maybe it gets mashed up with the energy of other people that have died in a similar space. It's weird. It's not really time, it's more space. But I don't know. That's just a weird theory that I've been kicking around to try to understand this. I don't think that we have a very good method of measuring soul, I guess. I don't know. I know some of you are probably are just itching to get at the keyboard and drop some comments on this. That's why I'm putting it out there as loosely as this. I haven't done a lot of research. This is really more of a belief structure, but I've kind of seen time and time again where things that we create or we think we're creating are actually reflections of much larger things that we already have in nature. You know, for example, flying a plane is, I think we know that we were basing that off of the design of a bird, but if you look at particularly how a plane lands, how it comes in and kind of lowers the back end and swoops in. If you've ever seen a bird try to get onto a branch ledge or something like that, you'll see the exact same motion. I think that sometimes on this earth we create little models of things that we don't quite understand might be in the bigger universe. So for me, this is just a whacked out Lord and Arts theory. I think the magnetic hard drive might be a model for spiritual energy that's being left behind in space and then later recollected. So tell me I'm crazy. No, I don't know. Tell me your thoughts, though. That's what I'm really interested in, especially if you have other theories on how this might be happening. Could it be a hoax? Is there some way these kids are getting this information? I don't know. It's so abstract. These aren't kids that are saying, like, I was Adolf Hitler in a previous life. These are not people that are very well known. So I don't know that there is information that these kids could stumble upon and then all of a sudden make up these stories and kind of wrap it around that info. It just doesn't seem quite feasible to me. Is it possibly the parents that are subjected to that information and then somehow relaying it to their children, maybe not necessarily knowing their kids are picking up on it or something like that? Is there some other way that this could be hoaxed? I really can't think of it. And my brain kind of likes to think of the possibility that this is really happening. And you know, we've got a TV show, a couple of articles that are pointing towards that. Very strange for a 2-year-old to have memories of things like that, and to be able to validate some of it really gets my my inquisitive brain going. So I hope it will do the same for you. Once again, thank you to Sid, and thank you to everyone that's going to drop a comment on here, because I'm really looking forward to reading through these and getting your input on how this might be working, how it might be faked. Does reincarnation exist in some form? Is it a pure reincarnation of someone else, or is it a mix of energy from that space where multiple people have died? Very curious to hear back from you guys. So I hope you're having a great week. Take care, everyone, and I'll catch you on the next show on the Geek and Dorks channel.